to in South Africa. And guess what? My understanding is that studies suggest that West Africans have a genetic makeup that make them the most vulnerable to cancer in the world. West Africans. And yet there isn't one single such equipment produce the FDGs for PET-CT in the whole of West Africa. So these are some of the kinds of challenging issues of healthcare that we have to deal with if we're going to have the human capital to compete. And it is investments from people like you and the networks that you have that will help make that possible, to build the appropriate environment for competition that will lead to the kind of growth that Africa requires. Fourth variable in this framework that I offered, entrepreneurship, the spirit of enterprise. How do we create it? Fifth variable, very important, very powerful, values, because values shape human progress. If you look at many, many parts of the continent, Nigeria is a classic example. And we have now reached a stage where, very sadly, nothing matters anymore. An old man of, in the past, you would consider, wisdom. He wakes up and tells complete lies. Everything he's saying has no foundation in reality. But he's saying it and getting away with it because it is politics. In Nigeria, you can say anything because it's politics. So the collapse of culture, death of values, crisis for growth and development. How are we going to be able to change those kinds of conditions? And then I think, very, very importantly, what does leadership do? Leadership is the sixth variable here. Most important thing that leaders do is set the tone of culture. That's the most important thing leaders do. If leaders cannot set an appropriate tone for culture, then we will not make the progress that we deserve to make. So if we can make impacts in affecting values, in helping build institutions, then we prepare Africa to be able to claim that place which it is destined to have in the future of the human race. Now, we've come a long ways in struggling with these reforms that need to be made. But who are those who can have the most impact in this right now with challenges in many African countries? Well, the diaspora stand out as a fundamental source of impact on changing the trajectory of the continent. Why is the diaspora so important? First of all, it is not new that the diaspora has been a central cause of change in the fortunes of countries. Japan in the 20th century, the ascendancy seemed extraordinary. Japan that was dismissed as having no great future became the country of the 20th century. Why? Essentially the role that the Japanese diaspora, especially from out of Germany, played in making Japan more technology savvy. We have seen India rising. We have seen China rising. And significantly, those countries' ascendants were affected by their diaspora. In Africa, it's even more so the case, or more important, because of the numbers of the capable in Africa that are living outside of Africa. Today in the United States, 70% of all the black doctors are Nigerian. 70% of all the black doctors in America. I listened to somebody just a few days ago mention that 10% of all the pharmacists in Maryland are Nigerian. Now, what's the point? The point is that with such a depth of talent and the capacity to influence, if the African diaspora does not engage, the future that we can claim will not be there for us to claim. I thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause, please. Let's keep it coming. So, thank you so much. DJ, can you be giving us some interludes where we prepare the podium for panel of discussion?